Man, can you believe that D-bag didn't even say hello? Hello, YouTubes! Okay, Haunt fam, I've been getting a lot of messages and comments, and you guys are bugging me about, oh, Cobwebs, why don't you do like some Jason or Freddy projects and stuff? So I was looking around on Amazon, and I found these guys. You get a free pack of Jason hockey masks for 10 bucks. I'll put the link below in the description if you guys want to get them yourself. They're probably cheap Chinese, flimsy plastic garbage that's basically just ready to go in the trash, or you wear it for one night and then you throw it away. But I thought maybe I could use these as a mold, and I've got this burlap and stuff left over. I want to use some fiberglass. Maybe we can make a custom burlap, almost like a carbon fiber type mask for Jason. So we're going to attempt to do that today. I'm going to bring you guys in. Let's get started on this thing. Okay, YouTube, so here's my thought process. I got 3 of these masks. I want to use these guys to compress some burlap in between. We'll use good old Bondo fiberglass resin. Normally Bondo products suck, but I do love their fiberglass resin. Been using it for years in my automotive shop. So with these masks, I need some of these little rivets or snaps off of this thing. So I want to use 2 of the masks as a bottom, and it's that simple with a pair of snips. You just squeeze them out, and they come right out of the mask, because we don't need these anymore. Okay, YouTubes, so I got the masks taped together. I went ahead and covered them in saran wrap, put a couple of pieces of tape on the back. So now we have 2 masks stacked up on the bottom. Our top one should be our cover, or our little press for our mold. So, so far so good. I think we're going to go ahead and let's prop this guy up for now. I've got some clamps. My plan is to go ahead and take 1 sheet of burlap. I've got 3 of them cut. I think 3 should do, maybe 2. I don't know, we'll see. I've got some fiberglass. Like I said, this is pretty heinous stuff, so you're going to want to use a respirator or have your windows open. You want to be well ventilated. So I've got a window open, the door open, so I should be good to go. We got our mask propped up here, ready to go. And when the time comes, we get our first coat of burlap on. I'll put a second one on and repeat the process, and I'll clamp everything down until it dries. We'll pop it off and see what we get when the top mask comes off. So I'm going to go ahead and add the hardener. Again, this is heinous stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be plenty. Again, I've done a bunch of fiberglass videos, you guys can see. I think I got it listed somewhere on my channel. I'm going to go ahead and double up these cups because this stuff does get hot. So that way I don't blow through the bottom, and it gives me a little bit of protection for my hands. And again, if you're working with fiberglass, I can already smell it. Wear gloves, it's nasty stuff. Don't play around with that stuff. But it's kind of a coolie amber shellac color, which I really kind of like. So I think this would be cool for our mask. Mix it up real good. I can already feel this stuff thickening up, so then you know you got enough hardener in there. And I can already smell it starting to funk. Alright. So, there's our hardener. We've got a throwaway chip brush, no big deal. Alright. We've got a little bit of time. We got probably about 10-15 minutes on a day like today before this hardens up. So we're just going to dip in, and we're going to blast some fiberglass right over this plastic. Just as sort of a base layer. Not a big deal. Just to give something for the first layer of burlap to stick to. So we're kind of covered. We're going to take our first layer of burlap. We're going to lay it right on top of there. Make sure we're kind of centered. You can see the fiberglass is already coming up through it. We're going to go ahead, brush another layer on top. Want it nice and soaking wet. And we're trying to push air bubbles out. So usually I work from the center out to try and smash air bubbles out. Alright. Make sure we get all the way to the bottom of the mask and past the outside edge of the mask. So that's nice and soaked and drenched. Do a little more on the top. Alright. So we got 1 layer. I'm going to go ahead. We got 1 on. We're kind of centered up. Press this down. Okay, I'm going to lay a second layer on top. I'm going to do the same thing over again. Okay, YouTube, so I got 3 layers on here. I'm going to take our other mask and sandwich this over the top of that one. I'm going to take all these little bitty clamps I've got and try and get in there and pinch me a clamp all the way across. You can see that fiberglass kind of oozing out. That's okay. So I'm going to go around this whole mask. I'm going to pin some clamps on it. Okay, YouTubes, kill the heat. Alright, so I had a fan run on this guy. It's been about half an hour or so. Everything feels kind of stiff, which is good. I did go ahead and trim up. I moved the clamp, trimmed everything off with the razor blade while it was still wet, so I lost a razor blade. So far, so good. But that's what we got so far. Again, our saran wrap. So hopefully this whole thing is encased. I'm going to go ahead and trace out the holes. So once you pull this mask off, I'll know where to drill. If this thing needs a second coat, we'll put a second coat on it. So let's go ahead and mark out all the holes I want to use. And we'll pop this thing loose. Let's go ahead and unclamp this thing. Take the big clamp out of the middle. Shouldn't need that anymore. Alright, these little guys. It definitely smells like fiberglass. Whew, man. Alright, so let's see if we can pop this front guy off. Is this going to be a bitch to peel back or what? Not too bad. Alright, check it out. There we go. Looks like we got some areas where it's still pretty stiff. Alright, so that is a hockey mask. We'll pull these back guys off. See if I can get the back mask off. Probably a good tool for that. Finger in there. Alright, so we got some saran wrap stuck to it. That's peeling off. Alright guys, I am going to go ahead and run a grinder over these edges and drill some holes. Okay, YouTubes, I went ahead and got the whole mask trimmed up. I drilled out the holes, knocked out his eye holes. You can see I drilled in those little boomerangs here. I got some little pilot holes built in those. And I sanded down the mask. And that's what we've got right now. So I went ahead and I cut his little iconic little triangles and his little boomerang in there. I thought that would be really cool for the mask. I just gave the backside a quick scuff. All this is just 80 grit. I like using 80, it cuts great, and we're going to put another coat on top of this, so instead of adding anything else to it, I thought, man, I love the burlap look. Now is the time, if you're building your own, you know, you can add anything to it. If you want to add some paint to it, whatever, we got some fiberglass getting ready to go, and we're going to smooth out a coat on this. So now's the time we can do any changes or anything you want to do to your mask. One last thing, when you're doing fiberglass and you're shaving down the holes, sometimes you get those little hairy little pieces of burlap back. I just take a lighter and burn it off with a lighter, and it burns a nice clean hole. So I think we're ready to go. We're going to mix up some fiberglass. But I thought, you know, maybe, you know, I might throw ahead and throw just a coat of glossy wood tone on there just for the hell of it. If you want to do any distressing or anything, now's your time. And then I've got some Ranger ink. I thought, man, we could add some Ranger ink to the fiberglass because it's kind of an amber color already. But you really don't even have to add it to the ink if you don't want, or the fiberglass if you don't want. Do a little of that. I mean, you could put some on your mask and just let it stain. Use it as a distressor and just brush it around. It's alcohol, so it dries really super fast. So yeah, we can just do that and go to town. So we're going to use the same brush for fiberglass. I want to smooth the coat on the front and the back, and this will be our final coat. And then we're going to put some straps on this bad boy. So I've got probably 5-6 ounces there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's plenty of hardener. And we're going to mix. And we're going to put a nice little gel coat over the whole top of this thing to kind of finish it off. We'll mix it up, and I can already feel it's kind of drag. The stick's already starting to drag a little bit, which is for fiberglass means you got just enough hardener in there. And I'm kind of picking up some of the alcohol ink off the sides. Like I said, you guys can throw it out in paint. I don't know if it might smear. Sometimes fiberglass resin will take paint off and move it around. I don't know. But I hate freaking waiting, so let's get this on here. Alright. We're mixed up. I think we'll start on the back side. Let's put a nice little wet gel coat on the back side because a lot of this stuff's going to bleed right through the little holes. So this will lock down anything on the back side of the mask. Just in case there's any little fiber sticking up, leave a nice smooth coat back there so it's against your face. It'll be okay. We can always put a little pad up there, a little block or something like that. No big deal. Alright. So we're going to let this guy sit. Got a nice smooth backside. Ooh, I can smell that fiberglass. I got the door open. I'm going to set it like this. We're going to go right over the top of the mask. Alright, check that out. We'll be generous with it, because this will be our final coat. And if you want, you could glue more burlap on there if you wanted a rougher looking mask. It's kind of up to you how far you want to take it at this point. Alright, that's cool. I love that. Make sure we get in them holes. Alright, that's our mask. I'm going to let this bad boy dry. When I come back, we're going to do some straps on this guy. Okay, YouTubes, so we took our 3 Chinese Amazon hockey masks. We made this guy. Get rid of that crap. Come with junky elastic straps. We don't need that crap either. But our mask turned out pretty good. I mean, it's stout, it's sturdy. I mean, that thing's going to last. It's waterproof. You could stick it out in the rain, put it on a scarecrow. So, man, I'm real happy with the durability of it, for sure. So, now we got to do some straps, and I want some equally cool scraps. Not no crappy elastic garbage. So, got my belt collection from the Goodwill here. We're going to pick out a cool belt for this guy. Something a little bit rustic. And I've got a couple of little screw rivets here. So I'll drill some holes in and pop some rivets in to hold our straps. That's probably a little too girly. That's a little too Wild West. That's probably a little bit too Blue Oyster Bar. Looking for something kind of simple. Maybe this brown one. That kind of looks pretty cool. Yeah, I kind of like the brown against the brown. The black might be a little too much. I think this one's our bitch right here. Alright, let's make some straps. Alright, I'm just going to chop it. Alright, let's get rid of these belts. Alright, I think this is going to be cool. I kind of like this belt. Hopefully it makes it around my freaking head. I'm going to scuff it up a little bit to make it look like it's a little bit more aged. And again, you guys can take this step as far as you want, but I think that's going to be... Yeah, see, it's already shredding some of the leather and the crappy dye off this thing. That side's kind of nice too, but it's got writing on it. Alright, then I'm going to use this as our strap. I'm going to go ahead and drill some rivets and put this in. And if you guys don't like the satin, or the this is kind of a satin or a semi-gloss finish. If you guys don't like the semi-gloss finish on your masks or that the burlap leaves, you can always put your second coat on. You can scuff this down or steel wool it. And you can go back and spray matte clear on it. That way you can have like sort of a satin finish. Okay, YouTubes, our hockey mask is done. Check it out. I went ahead and put the belts on. I cut them down and sanded them. I went ahead and put the rivets in. So I can always move them around later if my head gets fatter. Drill another hole. But man, it fits like a glove. It's great. I get plenty of air coming through. My vision's real good. And I'm pretty happy with it. Alright guys, that's what we did, man. We took some $3 or 3-pack of $10 Amazon mask. We used a Goodwill belt, some burlap left over from the Monster Tutorials challenge, and some fiberglass. I'll link the materials below on what I use if you guys want to attempt this yourself. And make a cool mask, man. It's waterproof, it's sturdy. It's going to take years of the punishment and abuse, so I'm happy with it. I think it's cool. It's my first kind of Jason prop, so... you guys get a chance, go check out my brothers in the Trio of Terror, Vic over at Monster Misfits, and Dave at the Weird Kid Show channel. And guys, we also live stream on Monday nights. We're on the Trio of Terror Facebook page at 7 p.m. till 8:30, depends when we finally get off. We talk about Halloween, talk about what we're doing, our props, our channels, everything under the sun. So if you guys get a chance, stop by, ask us a question, show us some love. And we'll be there on Monday nights. So until I see you guys again, keep it evil.